Hey guys, it's Alex. Here to talk to you guys about today is the Alexander disease. So basically, the Alexander disease is a really rare disease. There's not that much people that have got it. I don't know why it's called Alexander disease. I'm guessing because there was a kid or someone that was named Alexander and they got it. Not me though. Um, I think yeah, like the Alexander disease is basically what babies are usually born with it, and doctors say that they'll die around like 6 years old if you're born with it. It's a fatal disease, so right now there's no cure for it, but a lot of scientists and people are trying to find a cure for it. So, like examples of this disease is that like you'll get really weak once you start having the disease, and it'll get worse and worse. Like let's say your arms won't function right, your legs, you won't be able to walk right, So it's similar to a disease that I've heard about called MS, and it's sort of like that, but it's not like it's a worse degree. Like it's very fatal, and not much people get it, but usually you'd get it as a kid when you were born, so like you would maybe die at like 6 years old. That's what doctors say. And if you get it as an adult, you'll most likely die at like any age. Like it won't, but it's really sad how this disease affects so many people in the world. And like yeah, so basically what happens in this disease is there's these things called astrocytes that get in your brain after a while. So that's basically some like non-neuronal cells in your brain that gather in your brain and give you the Alexander disease. So what that does is that it touches your brain nerve. So for example, like let's say if you touch a stove and it's burning, so you touch a burner and you put your hand on it and you don't feel that it's burning, so it'll be it's bad because if you don't feel that it's burning, your hand will just burn without you even knowing it, so you have no nerve cells in your body. So yeah, so it gets worse and worse like that, and then at some points you don't see well, you can't hear well, you can't function, eat, drink, and it's terrible. Like it affects people like crazy. I've heard about it. So um the one other thing I wanted to talk about is that like I my opinion on the Alexander disease. So I think that it's like a very important disease because even though not much people get it, it could be a widespread disease. Like we never know in the future. It could be a really popular disease, as in like I don't know, I mean people could like spread it, I don't think it's a really like spreadable disease, but it could grow more and more. So scientists are trying to find a really fast way to cure it, and like hopefully they can, because it's a fatal disease, and when you figure that out, it's life threatening. Like there's the poor kids who they get up and then they figure out that they're gonna die at the age of 6 years old, and they're like discovering the world. So yeah, I think that's really bad too. And but the problem is that with the research, it costs so much money to like research with like different facilities and like tools. It costs to pay the scientists and the doctors that are trying to find the cures, the medicine, the everything. Like it's a lot of stress on a lot of people, and it's a lot of money. So in the end, I'm glad I learned about this disease because it seems very important, and I hope they really find a cure for it, because that would be great, just like to get as much disease as they can to like go away. So yeah, thanks for listening.